Hi and welcome to Yoga Berry, your yoga for scoliosis channel and community. I'm Christine Jareggi-Berry. I'm a yoga teacher specializing in yoga for scoliosis, and today I've got a strengthening and energizing standing practice for you. And all that you need is a yoga brick like this, or anything that is about this shape. So it could be a book, for example. If it's about shoulder width apart, that's all that it needs to be. So get everything ready and then join me on the mat. So we're going to start in mountain pose. And we want the feet to be hip distance apart. And when I talk about hip distance, I mean here the hip bones at the front. So just feel those bony bits sticking out. That means hip distance apart. It's not the outer parts here of the thighs. So when you're drawing a line down, the knees will be directly underneath and the ankles will be directly underneath the knees. Make sure that your right foot is doing the same as the left foot, meaning that for me, for example, one of my feet, I know they tend to turn out, so I'm just bringing it back to mirror the other foot. And then just lift your toes off the ground and see if you can get some awareness, some space in between the toes, especially the little toes. See if you can separate it from the rest of the toes. And then just allowing for the toes to come back down to the ground, but with a little bit more awareness, as if you're reaching through the toes, lifting the inner arches of the feet. So you might think, what do my feet have to do with scoliosis? They have a lot to do with that. So we want the base to be really, really stable, and then we can kind of stack everything on top a little bit better. So see if you can kind of press down into the ground a little bit more, and notice this rebound effect that this creates. When you're kind of giving weight into the ground, you can also lift up through the crown of the head a little bit more. So don't worry about lefts and rights and adjusting your curve. We're just thinking about the center, so the crown of the head reaching up, lifting up through the chest a little bit more. And then just close your eyes for a moment, just allowing for the body to absorb this information, this way of standing. And then slowly open your eyes and take hold of your brick or the book or whatever you're using. As I said, it needs to be about shoulder width apart. So I'm using this yoga brick here, and I don't want to lose that connection that I've just created with my feet. So see if you can find it again. And then I'm just taking the brick forwards now. So it's about shoulder width apart. I'm just lightly pressing my hands into the block on either side. And you will notice how this starts to activate the arms and the shoulders. So make sure the tension doesn't come up into the neck. Doesn't kind of create tension around here. So you want to draw the shoulder blades down, pressing the hands into the block, and keep the head really nice, the neck nice and relaxed. So maybe move the head from side to side a few times. Good. So what we're looking to do is we're creating strength and resistance in the upper body. And this is really, really important for scoliosis. So keep pressing. And then let's release for a moment. So it doesn't look like much, but if you are doing it alongside with me, you will notice that this is actually doing quite a lot. So let's do this again. Bring the block up and just pressing the hands into the block. Keep breathing, drawing the shoulder blades down at the back. Notice how the arms, the shoulders are working, making sure that there's no tension in the neck. And then release. Good. So next one, we're going to take the arms up over the head this time and bringing the block up over the head. So hopefully you can still just about see this in the video. If not, you know what I've got in my hands. And I'm doing the same thing. So I'm pressing the hands into the block. Now make sure that when you lifted your arms, you haven't started to kind of arch into the back too much. So we don't want this to be a back bend. But we're keeping that length that we created in mountain pose and just taking the arms up. So it might be that you stop about here. Maybe you don't bring them all the way up. So just see what's possible with the shoulder flexibility that you've got. Good. So we're going to address the thoracic curve now. So if you have a right thoracic curve, what we're going to do is just lengthen a little bit more and then just take the brick off center towards the left, just ever so slightly. Good. Coming back to center. And then we're going to go to the other side. Now we're going against the curve, so we can bend a little bit more over to the other side, over towards the right. Obviously, if you have a left thoracic curve, you're doing the opposite. Come back to center. One more time. So over towards the left, just slightly off center. Doesn't have to be much. Come back to center and then a little bit more when you're going over towards the right. Good. And then let's release and release the brick. Good. Just put it to the side. We won't need it anymore. Just roll your shoulders a few times. Good. And then we're going to come into a standing posture, warrior two from there. So warrior two variation actually. So we're going to bring the, turn the left foot out and the right foot in, separate the legs about this width. Inhale, bring the arms up, reaching through the fingertips here, drawing the rib cage in. So lifting up through the crown of the head. And then exhale, bend the front knee. So very important that the knee goes into kind of the direction of the second toe. It doesn't twist in or out. Good, so we're going to work dynamically here with the breath. Inhale, we're going to straighten the leg, bring the arms up over the head. And then exhale to bend the knee. Inhale to lengthen, arms up. Exhale to bend. Just building up a little bit of stamina, a little bit of strength in the upper body, strength in the legs. Oh, very, very important for good posture. Inhale and exhale. Good. The last one we're going to hold in warrior two for a breath or two. See if you can relax the shoulders. I know this is easier said than done, but draw the shoulder blades down at the back. And then we're coming into peaceful warrior. So we're going to bring the right hand down, reaching up with the left arm. So if you have a right thoracic curve, really go for it here and really opening through that left side of the body. If you have a left thoracic curve, you're holding back a little bit. So you just think about reaching up rather than taking it all the way over to open the side. Good, let's take one more breath. And then coming back into warrior two, straighten the front leg, hands to the waist, and then swap sides. So left foot turns in, right foot turns out. Same thing on this side. So really getting that contact with the feet and the ground. Inhale, bring the arms out to the sides. Exhale, bending the front knee. Just notice your alignment. So watch the front knee, that it's going into the direction of the toes. Inhale, straighten the front leg, arms up over the head. Exhale, back into warrior two. Inhale to lift, lengthen. And exhale into warrior two. Good. Two more. Inhale. And exhale. Just moving the energy in the body around, building up that strength and stamina. Good. So last one, we're going to hold here for a breath. See if you can relax the tops of the shoulders. And then bring the left arm down. We're going to reach up with the right arm. So right thoracic curve, we're not taking it over, we're just reaching up. We're just lengthening a little bit here through that right side. If you have a left thoracic curve, go for it. So really opening through that right side here. Good, so it's really important to get to know your curve and then starting to work with it. Okay, let's come back into warrior two and then straighten the front leg. Bring the hands to the waist, just turn both feet in. We're going to fold forwards this time. So outer edges of the feet are parallel to the outer edges of the mat. Inhale, lifting the chest, and then exhale, folding forwards with a long spine. Just bring the hands down to wherever they reach. If they don't reach the ground, bend your knees. Bend your knees just so you can get your fingertips down on the ground. Pressing down through the outer edges of the feet. Obviously, if you can, straighten your legs, straighten your legs. Inhale to lengthen, exhale, maybe folding a little bit further forward. Good, let's take one more breath here. And then ever so slightly bend your knees and then start to press into the feet to come up with a long back, coming all the way up. And then let's heel toe the feet together. Good, so we're going to do one more pose, which is chair pose, and we're going to take our brick again. This time we're taking the brick in between the thighs, so inner thighs, like this. So just notice what this feels like when you're squeezing the legs. So the legs are still hip distance apart, but to keep them hip distance apart, you might have to squeeze in a little bit more. So just noticing what this feels like, this action in the lower body. So it should feel nice and stable here. And then from there, we're going to come into chair pose. So inhale, bring the arms up, and then exhale, bending the knees. So I'll show you from the side. So we're keeping the spine in a neutral position. We're not overarching or sticking the bottom out too much. Come back in from this side. And then keep breathing. So if it's too much to lift the arms, just keep the hands onto the waist. But we're looking for that engagement in the lower body. And then let's slowly straighten the legs and put the brick to the side. Good. So short practice. I hope you enjoyed this. Feel free to lie down for a few minutes of relaxation in Shavasana, and I see you very soon for the next video.